So the Gundam Seed Freedom movie is coming out at the end of January. I think it's the end of January. And I figured, why not look at something from the beginning of the series, the 160 scale Freedom Gundam. And right off the bat, this thing has problems because it's not that it's a bad model, it's the fact that it doesn't really do anything that the ones from 10 years ago did. I need to look at the 160 scale Shining Gundam and God Gundam sometime, and the Wing Gundam, or Wing Zero. They are pretty much on par. The only difference is, or at least one of the differences, is that they have LEDs in them. Now they take like the bigger batteries, not like the ones they do now, with little cell ones. But this guy, for being 2003 compared to like 1994, you'd think it'd be a little better. Oh, hey, I just noticed. That's what that red piece on the rug was. I was wondering, some of the 160 scales fell off the shelf, and I'm wondering what that red piece was. Now I know. Okay. It doesn't have many stickers. That's good. It has the little one here on the back, which usually they do. And the cameras. The eyes are actually clear plastic, and they do shine rather nicely. Would have been nicer if there was an LED in there. Like I said, we got ones from kits that were 1994, 96 as well, I think, the Wing Zero. It's kind of sad. Also, his proportions are kind of out of whack. Unfortunately, that's what they did for the Freedom back when Seed first came out. A lot of the suits or models kind of squished. But this guy, the biggest problem with this is the wings. Because if you look at a modern Freedom, they're about down to the ankles, the very tips, and these things are like just really stubby. Also, never liked the head. This is something that the 2.0 kind of copied, and I hate the heads because they're elongated. I hate the elongated face. The original Master Grade and also the Master Grade SD, I think, nail it. But this is just a little too long. Granted, that's how some of the pictures were when it first came out, but I didn't like it anyways. Personally, maybe some people do. And it does have some detail. You got it in the red, in the knees here. All the parts on the railguns are plastic. That's good. The wings are properly colored anyways, so that's something. Another thing, I don't think it really has that good articulation, or even better, but the plastic quality on this one is way better. It's I'd say about twice as thick as the ones from the 90s, which I guess makes sense. But posability wise, I do like the fact that they molded in pistons in the shoulders and the elbows. I kind of picked those out with some silver Gundam marker back in the day. But like one jointed elbow, they do give you semi-articulated hands. The fingers just have an extra hinge, not the 2 hinges that they should. Which I think is I don't even know if, I can't remember now. I have to look at the Shining Gundam and God Gundam and see if they have, I know they have some articulate fingers, so I can't remember if they pose all the way or not. At least the waist is tight. I mean, the wings aren't that big, so it doesn't really have too much of a problem of falling over. Legs are just simple ball joints. They're pretty tight, and it does have double jointed knees. And the ankles, while the toes don't move, you think they would at this size, but they do tilt. Something that you really didn't get with models at the time. And then we have the wings. I mean, there's nothing wrong with how they're made. It's just that they're too damn small. Because then you open them up. Let's see if I can get this working right. When you open them up, that doesn't look good. They're tiny, baby wings. Like Freedom's first wings or something. And also, this part always comes out. I always forget this is an actual pegged in piece. It doesn't have like a hinge or something. Yeah, the the cannons don't have an extra hinge to have them open when the wings are open. So you always have to have them like this. And that's just how it was back in the early 2000s. You had to have the wings like that. They just couldn't figure out how to hinge the cannons. So that's, I mean, at least if you're going to do the full burst mode with the railguns, it would look better because the wings would be behind and you wouldn't really be able to see them. And speaking of the railguns, they work fine. They are very tight. The handles do come out. I promise you they come out. There's a little nub here, but there. So yeah, they work. They're good. They do their job. They're nice and tight still. I've had this one, I think. Oopsie. Well, and then the perf falls off, of course. But I've had this kit since I think it's been 15 years. I didn't get it when it first came out initially, but I did find it in an online shop, which I don't think exists anymore. And you might have noticed there's no beam saber handles in here because they suck. They still suck to hold. They've always sucked to hold. I've said it before, the best way to hold the beam saber handles on the Freedom is the SD Master Grade. These just followed all the time and I left them off. And I don't regret it. It does have an opening cockpit. And you got Kiriyamato in there. That's cool, right? I actually forgot that it did that. I just checked while I was talking. And let's go to the weapons that it has to hold. You got Mr. Shield, which it looks good. You do have a moving handle. Don't really see much of a reason because you can't peg it into the arm only one way. So why does it need to do that? I don't know. Maybe so you can get it out of the way because you don't really need the handle. It just pegs into the arm. Now another thing I don't like. See how this one has a little white piece? See how this one doesn't? The thing is, if you want to have the shield pegged into the arm, you gotta remove the panel. They couldn't figure out how to do that. Other kits just have it pegged into the elbow piece. I don't know why they didn't do it. Maybe they didn't think it'd be a strong enough connection. Because the peg is really good. But it just, you have to have the white piece off. And I wish there was like a little spot to peg the white extra cover, but there isn't. So you have to put it off to the side. Kind of annoying. But it does the job. And the beam rifle, well, compared to other ones of the time, no sticker for the blue. That's actually really good. That's a plus. Handle can move. You got some clear in the sensor piece, and you got a little flip out tab that can go on either side for the hand, which does have a little hole. And you might have noticed this honkin' peg because weapon storage, which was actually a novel idea back in, whoopsie, in the early 2000s. Maybe it does need the handle to hold. But yeah, oh no, it's the gray part came off. That's the thing. Oh, it broke. Well, that's the thing. It's the extra gray part. I guess they want to show extra detail. But I'd rather just be able to peg it into the elbow. Whatever. So, Freedom needs a perfect grade. Why don't we have a perfect grade Freedom? We have a Strike. We have a Strike Freedom. But no Freedom. And I can't say that the Strike or the Strike Freedom didn't get 160 scales that weren't perfect grades. They did. We had the 160 Strike, which also came out with all the launcher packs. Something that the perfect grade didn't get until a couple years ago. And then we also had the lighting edition of the Strike Freedom, which I would love to get. It's one of the few 160s I don't have. But it was kind of expensive for what it was. Yeah, if you can find this, I mean, it's the only way to get a Freedom 160 scale, but they really need to do a perfect grade. Come on, Bandai, get it together.